Hi, today we are going to do an ultimate beginner footwork skating practice. You're going to start with your feet shoulder width apart, and we're going to go into something called the side step. You're going to come back to center, step out to the side, center, side. And when you're stepping out to the side, eventually I want you to be able to shift your hips over that leg that is stepping out. Also, I want you to take all that stress off your knees and put muscle into it with your butt muscles. You should feel your butt muscles activated. I'm turning to the side here so you can see I am not putting stress on my knees. I'm kind of over the center of my skate, and my butt is actually doing a lot of work here. If you put your work into your quads and your lower back, you will trash your knees, so be working on getting that butt working. All right, our next exercise is the stomp. So you're going to step shoulder width apart and then step out and stomp 3 times, just like what we did with the side steps, but now you're going to stay there for 3 stomps. And then you're going to come back together, back to center, and stomp the other side. 1 and 1. Now we're doing 1 and 1. 1, 2, 3, together. 1, 2, 3, together. All right, and again, make sure your butt is doing work. Don't be trashing your knees. Stomping 3, together. If you can only stomp once, stomp once. I want you to eventually get to where you can stomp 3 times. And our next footwork exercise is the heel taps. So you're going to stand with your feet underneath your shoulders here, and you're going to lift your back wheels, keep your front wheels on the ground, and tap your heel into a T position. Lifting the back heel wheels, keeping the front 2 wheels on the ground, and tap your heel. So we're going to do this, practice this, and when you're doing this, notice my hips. They are turning and shifting. I want you to turn and shift your hips. All of these footwork drills are to help you get moving your feet and shifting your hips, because skating is all about shifting your weight from left to right. So shift those hips. And we are just going to stay here and do that because that's fun. Once you get it, you feel like you're dancing. It's also going to help you learn your transitions because you have to turn your feet like this. All right, our next one is the heel tap, but I'm stepping at double shoulder width or shoulder width apart. So try a wider stance if you're feeling crazy. And our next one is the lunges. So now I am lunging. I just have my feet double shoulder width apart, and I'm shifting my weight from left to right. But notice I'm bringing my weight back to the center, and I'm coming up to come to the center. I'm not transferring my weight from left to right, staying low. I'm coming up and down over the leg, up and down over the other leg. And notice where my hands are. Right hand in front, left hand in back. So that is putting me in the speed skater position. So basically these lunges are simulating what you'll be doing whenever you're actually doing side strokes or crossovers in speed form. So the position I am is definitely speed skater. So do that. Remember, all of these exercises, I want your butt engaged, not your quads and your lower back. If you feel quads and lower back, get that butt working. All right, our next exercise is the V squats. So you're going to make a V with your feet. You're going to bring your feet back together to the center, and you're going to do a one-legged squat. So one-legged squat, V, back to center, and squat. V, back to center, and squat. And you'll notice I am doing a one-legged squat. You'll notice I'm coming up on my toe stop. I'm kind of taking some pressure off that other foot so I can use that squat leg to take on all my weight. But I do have my other foot down for support. So please use the other foot for support. Now I'm speeding it up and I'm turning it into a bounce. So V, bounce, but still I'm using one foot to do that 1 foot semi-squat. Now basically let's call them semi-squats. So V, together squat, V, together squat. And now I'm really making the squat and the V one movement. I've taken out the center position to get ready. So this would be something you do work towards to master. Really, this is working you up to doing the crazy leg dance move. So take it slow on this. This is a lot of opening and closing hips. Some of us have a lot of trouble with opening and closing our hips. So that is something to work towards. All right, now we're doing the V turns. This is going to turn into your 2 foot spin. So you're going to make a V and make another V, V, and V. You're making V's and you're turning in a circle. What I want you to do with these is do 1 revolution and stop, and then work up to doing 3 revolutions. And don't get dizzy, but work on this footwork. It's going to turn into a beautiful heel toe spin one day. And it's super important to learn how to do it without traveling all over your garage. So you want to stay in one spot. All right, this next one, I'm hanging on to my garage door, and throughout all of these, as you're learning, if you have something to hang on to, do it. But what I'm doing is I'm stretching out my hips because I have really tight hips, and a lot of skaters do have tight hips. We're about to go into the Mohawk Turn exercise, and you really need to have your hips stretched out for this. So I am showing you how to hang on to something while you're practicing this. So I'm hanging on, opening up into a 180-degree foot placement. My heels are together and my feet are at a 180. Before we were doing a V. Now we're actually making a 180 with our feet. So I want you to open up wider on this one. And you're turning forward to backwards, turning my chest. I'm facing that wall. I'm in the center, now I'm facing that wall. And so what's going to happen when you master this, you're going to be able to skate from forward to backwards without doing a U-turn. So work on this. It's forward to backwards, forward to backwards. See how my feet are really straight? Look down at your feet when you're doing this. Are they straight or are they in a V? If they're in a V, you're not going to be going from forward to backwards. You're going to be doing a U-turn. All right, so we're going to pick up the speed on this one. And eventually, I want you to be so comfortable with this that you can do these kind of lunges. And again, you want to use your, on this one, you're using your hamstrings. You'll feel your hamstrings getting you down safely. Keep your knees from going over your toes so you don't trash your knees. And this is it without the lunges. So I'm mohawking and I'm just turning to the next wall and tapping that toe stop. All right, let's move on to the next exercise. This is a little hip twist. So on this one, I'm lifting my heel wheels and placing them a quarter turn. So I'm quarter turning the whole time. So I'm going left, center, right, center, left, center, right, center, left, center, right, center, lifting those heel wheels. All right, here it goes in slow-mo. And see how I'm lifting those heel wheels? Those 2 front wheels are staying on the ground. This is something you have to work on to master. But you will eventually master this. This is a little crazy. And eventually you'll start rolling backwards. And if you're rolling backwards when you do lift your heels, that's great because it's going to turn into all kinds of awesome stuff. So right here, we're lifting our heels and we're rolling backwards. Lift and roll. And back to center. Lift, back to center, lift, back to center. So get to where you can actually roll. The best way to roll is just to point your butt cheeks out in that direction and your butt will lead the way. It will not happen during your first footwork practice. This is something to do every day. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.